Okay, the next play that we're going to talk about is Macbeth. Remember that there is a full movie that you need to click on concerning Macbeth so that you can watch Macbeth in its entirety. Macbeth is also one of the four plays that's used throughout this semester that the book uses to use as examples of different plays to give description of characters, what's behind the scenes, different things like that. Okay, so that's one of the four major plays. So we already know just a little bit about how Macbeth starts out. However, just like with the other plays, I wanted to just give you a very brief synopsis about what happened. Okay. So let's look at the main characters. We're going to start off with the characters of Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Banquo, which travels with Macbeth, Flanice, which is Banquo's son, King Duncan is actually the present king. We have Malcolm, which is the king's son, Macbeth, which battles Macbeth. Okay. So, like I said, this is just a very brief synopsis. We're not going into the details of the characters. We're just going to talk a little bit about what happens. Okay. So the first thing that's going on is Macbeth and Banquo are traveling back from war, and they are victorious. As a matter of fact, Macbeth has received something stating that he is actually promoted. Okay. While they're traveling back, Macbeth and Banquo encounter three witches. Okay, the witches prophesied to both of them. They prophesied to Macbeth that he will be king. They prophesied to Banquo that his descendants will actually be king. Okay. Macbeth tells his wife, Lady Macbeth, about the prophecy of the three witches. And what they do is they conspire to do everything humanly possible to make sure that prophecy comes true. And so, therefore, they go on what I call a murderous rampage. So, like I said, these do not have details, but these just kind of list the different events that take place. So, the first thing that Lady Macbeth and Macbeth conspire to do is kill the present King Duncan. Okay. So the present King Duncan, Macbeth stabs him with a dagger in his bed, and as a result, the chambermaids are the one that's blamed for the king's death. As a result of the chambermaids being blamed, the chambermaids are also killed. Okay. Next, they try to kill Banquo and Flanice. Okay. So Macbeth conspires to have Banquo and his son killed. Um, People end up killing Banquo, however, Flanice gets away. Okay. So now they've killed King Duncan, they've also killed Banquo. Okay. This time, Macbeth began to see daggers. He began to see the ghost of Banquo. At one of the feasts, he sees the ghost of Banquo. Um, And so the insanity begins to reveal itself. Macbeth goes back to the three witches, and this time he gets a new prophecy. They prophesy that Macbeth can only be killed by a man that is not born of a woman. Okay. So now Macbeth thinks that he's invincible because he's like, no one can kill me. You know, everyone's pretty much born of a woman. They cannot kill me. I'm invincible. However, they also tell him to beware of Macduff. So, of course, the way that Macbeth deals with the threat of Macduff is he kills Macduff's entire family, which includes his wife and his children. Macduff is, of course, he is furious with this, and they end up in battle. Okay? But before they end up in battle, you have Lady Macbeth, who also goes insane. She cannot sleep. She ends up committing suicide because of all of the guilt of her transgressions that has taken place. So let's take a look at the battle. Macbeth and Macduff. During the battle, of course, Macbeth is feeling invincible until Macduff reveals that he was not born of a woman, that he was actually untimely ripped from his mother's womb. Therefore, Macduff ends up beheading Macbeth. He ends up killing Macbeth. He's able to kill Macbeth because he was not born of a woman, as of what the prophecy of the three witches said. The three witches said, of course, the only way that Macbeth could be killed is by a man not born of a woman. And therefore, Macbeth was not born of a woman. He ends up, of course, in the battle, he ends up killing Macduff. In the end, Malcolm, the son of Duncan, returns because after King Duncan was killed, Malcolm left. But um, afterwards, Malcolm, the son of Duncan, he has returned and now he is king.